What up, y'all? It's Kev again, y'all. Thanks for coming to another episode of Musician Rewind. Today's guest, my man, fellow drummer, Dwight. Dwight, how you pronounce your last name?
Crudup.
Crudup. Another Jamaica cat. How you been, man?
Listen, man, I've been doing highly favored and truly blessed.
Yeah, man. Glad to hear it. Thanks for coming on. And hey, man, like I start every show, man, was drums your first instrument?
Absolutely not.
All right, well, there goes another one for my list.
No, you know what happened? I when I was in public school, PS 160, I started playing the saxophone.
Okay.
And then as I started playing the saxophone, then I went to Shiman Junior High School. Then I kept playing the saxophone.
Right.
And then after that, one day, my brother and I, the year before, my cousin, he played guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And he played guitar with this group called Opus, Phase 3. And I've always wanted to play guitar. So my mother brought me a guitar. She brought my brother some drums.
Right.
So when she brought him the drums, you know, I'm playing in there on saxophone and in the band and everything. And then all of a sudden, we was doing Shaft. And the drummer was doing the 16s on the hi-hat. And everybody was just going crazy. And I used to go down there. I used to mess around with the drums, but I never took it serious.
Right.
I wanted a saxophone, but because of my father, he got laid off, couldn't get one. You know, so I sat up there and I started playing the drums. And then after that, I never looked back.
I hear you.
Never
All
looked
right.
back.
So another one I know. There's a couple of people I interviewed started on guitar and moved to their instrument.
Yeah, that's my first love, that saxophone. Now looking at it, I should have stayed with it because you know, I'm the last one. I'm the first one there and the last one to leave.
Oh, okay. Yeah, right.
You know,
yeah,
they
man,
come there with their saxophone. They come there with their horn. They pack it up. Hey, man, see you guys later. I gotta take all that stuff down.
Just like singers, same thing.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Good night. So, all right. So you're in elementary school. You're playing drums, right?
I started playing when I got in like maybe my first year in high school.
Okay.
You know, after we did, you know, because I graduated in 8th grade. Then in 9th grade, I started, you know, taking an interest to it. You know, then my mother had got me a Telestar, my brother a Telestar drum set.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're going way back, Telestar.
Did your brother keep playing or he eventually stopped?
Nah, he stopped playing, you know, and then after that, you know, I got inspired through this drummer from Phase 3, Kenny Smith. He was a good drummer over there in House. And I was like, you know, I had a makeshift foot pedal. He had a Speed King.
Right. Speed King. I was top of the line back then.
Yeah, he had a Ludwig set, you know, and I had a Telestar, you know, so I just like, man, if I can get a decent drum set, you know, then we started this band called Natural Explosion, some guys from around the neighborhood. And we lived 2 blocks away from each other. Right. We had actually 4 guys from the band living on the same block.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah, and you didn't start till high school. That's considered late.
Yeah.
To play an instrument. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, high school, you know, and then, if you don't take any lessons, you don't have someone to show you what to do.
Right.
You just pick up what you can pick up and just go from there.
Yep. Okay, so y'all started the band, Natural Explosion. Anybody from my part of Queens remembers that band.
Yeah,
y'all had a great horn section.
Yeah, we were young, we set up there and our guys that we used to try to emulate was Funk House Express.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they had the horns, they had everything. And we were young, you know, we had 4 guys living on 148th Street. That was Carl Morton bass, Jimmy Johnson keyboard, Anthony Newsom sax, and Dave Taylor on trombone. And then we went and got Tony Johnson from 141st Street. He played guitar. Right. And I played drums. And we just was a local band. We had a lot of fun. Met a lot of people. You know, could have went somewhere because we were young.
Right.
You know.
Right. Did y'all ever record? Did y'all go in the studio? No? No originals? No
We got
originals at all, huh?
no. We was working on stuff, but we didn't have the right management.
Okay.
They was concerned about doing gigs instead of trying to get us out there. We even had one time we had Barbara Joyce from BT Express come down and
Mm-hmm.
she had original she wanted us to help out with. We did that, but we never did any recording.
Yeah, it's interesting. The band at that time, we talking about 70s, it was almost like you had to have a horn section or you wasn't going to sound like the sound that was out. And
Yeah,
I
yeah,
remember we only had a horn section for a short time before they left and went over to me and my friends. But when we did have them, the difference in the sound was like gigantic.
yeah,
To have horns, man. That's the one thing I always remember about y'all band. I was like, man, those horns, man. It separates you from a lot of other bands that's just got a rhythm section.
yeah. I forgot Troy Saunders. He played trumpet, and
Mm-hmm.
Jeffrey Lawrence played guitar also. But yeah, man, we back in them days, you had all them bands that had horns like the Commodores, Earth, Wind and
Mm-hmm.
Fire,
Yep.
Ohio Players, Barcades, New Birth.
Mandrills. Yep.
Yeah,
Just about
oh
all
man,
those bands had, that was the sound. You had to have horns.
yeah, you had to have the horn, and them guys, they were very talented. Dave and Anthony, them
Mm-hmm.
guys had some good voices, man.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we
that
didn't have
band
to
sounded
really,
great.
yeah, man, I really enjoyed them guys. We had a lot of fun, and just growing up, knowing that, we started, because Kenneth McHarris was the guitar player for Funk House.
Mm-hmm.
And, he lived on that block also. So he introduced Carl Morton, the bass, and Jimmy lived right across the street from him. So he was a big influence, may he rest in peace. But just the idea of, going to places, watching them play, man, it was like they played in the parks. We played at so many places. We were like a little groupie.
Right, right, right.
We just kept following them.
So who was the original bass player with y'all?
His name was Carl Morton. He turned out to be DJ Woody Wood.
So eventually he left because he was getting too busy as a DJ. Is that what
Yeah,
happened? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. He was getting, conflicted gigs and all
Right.
that. So we wound up getting another bass player. He's his name is Len Mendoza.
Lynn,
Yeah.
yeah. Leonard. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, up until this day, me and him still work on projects and everything,
Yeah, Leonard's a
Good
great
guy.
bass player, man. Very humble brother, man. I gotta get
Yeah.
him on here too.
I think, sometimes when you look at talent is something that's we all got. We just got to
Mhm.
find it.
Right, right, right. Everybody's got a different gift. God bless them older brothers, man, that at least encourage you and tell you don't give up, man. Keep playing. And
Yeah, there's quite a few of them, when you start talking like Richie,
mhm,
um, Hugo Peterson,
mhm.
and Lino Reyes, is Howie, and there's a lot of guys that you learn, like I learned some stuff from Richie,
Right.
whereas, and he was very, then they had this guy on the block, on 141st Street named Henry Miller. We call him Hank Miller.
Hmm.
Nice drummer, It was just like, his brother Alvin, Al Miller, he's in LA right now, but he's a nice bass player.
Hmm.
And it's just was so much talent. You had just 141st Street, you had Stanley Hammond on bass, Rob Sutton on drums, you had Frankie Johnson on guitar, Tony Johnson on guitar, and Jeffrey Lawrence, and these guys lived on one block.
Wow.
One block.
Wow.
Then if you go to across the street, Foch Boulevard, you had the Stevenson family, which
Mhm.
this guy, Alan, he played double bass, Then you had Arthur, he was a guitarist.
Right.
And then his brother, we went to school together, he played bass, Bobby. So, everywhere, every block that you went on, you just had talent.
Yeah, man. That was the thing about Jamaica Queens, man. It was like they say, when they say it was a band on every block, two, They telling the truth. You could just walk
Unbelievable.
down a different street and you'd be hearing different bands practicing.
Yeah, you go across the bridge, you had this group called Mass Production and the guitar, not the guitar player, the drummer, Keith Bankhead. Nice guy, man.
And it's just with so many cats coming out of Queens.
Yeah, yeah. When you start talking about guys on that side,
Mhm.
talking about Denzel Miller,
Right,
Bugs, Fred Bugs, keyboard
right.
player, you know, like I said, Many Faces of Soul, Funk House Express, just a whole bunch of
Oh,
groups on that side.
a whole bunch of them. So now, what high school? I don't even know what high school you came out of.
I went to Richmond Hill.
Yeah. So you do any playing in there, band or
No,
anything? No.
no, didn't play in the band in there, too busy trying to get on the basketball team.
Cats that was on that side of town, like you mentioned, like there's a whole lot of I had never heard of.
Yeah,
You know, like Lala, she got a brother that plays drums.
yeah, they played
Even
in
her.
Jack's ass,
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. You know, coming up in that era, you had the Fireballs.
Mm-hmm.
You had Midtown TNT. You had CBS. You had Jack's Ass. I was a fan of Area Code. Then you had Milestone. You had all these groups, and I never forget. Natural Explosion was played at the Sean Du, and it was Battle of the Bands, and then we just happened to go up against the Junior Fireballs.
Mm-hmm.
So you had Bernard, right? You had Mike Flight. You had Les on guitar. You had Warren. And they did this song Checkmate. We did our brass construction
Right.
and cool in the game. Them four little young guys got to Checkmate, man. It was a wrap.
Wow.
So they got heavy influenced by the Fireballs. The Fireballs used to do a lot of stuff. I remember they came to Shima one time and they put on a performance, man. They came down the aisle. They was doing all this percussion stuff, and then they just got on the stage and it was like, bam,
Wow.
it's awesome. So Howie has always been one of my favorite drummers.
Right, right.
Omar, he's one of my favorites. And then you start meeting other drummers, like Clarence Bedford. They call him Junior. He was in Milestone, and I think he went to your high school. No, he was.
I believe he went to August Martin.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, and he, the Milestone, the group was a spinoff of Area Code. Area Code was definitely a band to be reckoned with because they really had so much talent. The bass player, Butch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, this guy, they did In the Stone. And if it wasn't exactly like the record, you couldn't have fooled me. It was just
Wow.
that tight. And they had other groups, like Air, I was always a Air. I used to go to the corner and just sit out there and just listen to them. They won't let me in rehearsal.
Yeah, they cause that's on my block, and they were probably the biggest influence because I got to hear them all the time. Even if I was in my house, I could hear them. I could hear them rehearsing.
They used to
And,
rehearse over there right off of Sufton Boulevard and 115th Avenue. It's like a little store. And I used to just sit out there and listen. I'd be like, man, they just won't let me in.
Yeah, that's after they left Rich's house, right? They started rehearsing outside the house, yeah.
Yeah, so I listened to them. I mean, they even had this group. One guy, he got me involved in music. They had this group called Chain Reaction, and the drummer was Tony Shamero. And they did some nice stuff. There's only four of them, and I was like, yo, this is all right. So the guy I went to school with, bass player Ron Penn, he's like, yo, man, you should start playing with other groups and whatnot. I was like, nah, man, I'm just going to stay with Natural Explosion. Then we set up, then we started doing gigs. Then it was like, yo, man, can you do this gig? And I started branching off,
Right.
And then I started meeting a lot of people, And then got auditioned for this group called Jones, this Sugar Pie guy. They had changed the the group image,
Mm-hmm.
It was a self-contained group, and met some nice people in there, Lawrence Bruno, he was the bass player. He used to play with Roy Ayers, Alan Thompson, this keyboard player named, we call her Safari, she was nice, and you just get a chance in the singers, Karen Denard, Jamie Richardson, and you get a chance to just see different things through, and it was, we
Right.
used to rehearse in Brooklyn a lot. So we had a lot of fun, man, you know. I started meeting a lot of people from Brooklyn.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to ask you that. Did you start to meet a lot of Brooklyn cats? Because when I started playing with Steve Anderson, he was actually out of Brooklyn, but he stayed in Queens as cousin because he went to school with me as cousin. So that's when I end up meeting Brooklyn cats. When we started rehearsing out in Brooklyn. So I met a lot of good players out of Brooklyn. So like drummers, what drummers were you into? Like, I actually came in because of Rich. I came in listening to Fusion early.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite drummers is all, because while you listen to R&B,
Right.
is Sugarfoot, man.
Mm-hmm.
The Ohio players, man, the stuff that he used
Diamond.
to do. Oh
Diamond
yeah,
the drummer, Sugarfoot's guitar,
right.
yeah.
The guitar, right.
Mm-hmm.
Diamond, right. Man, I was like, man, this guy's amazing. Then I started watching Walter Orange, from the Commodores,
From the Commodores, right. Right.
you
Before he
know.
moved up front.
Right.
Singing.
Then
Yeah.
then I started looking at Funky George,
Mm-hmm.
Cool in the Gang, So then, then you start going to the Buddy Miles, you know.
Wow, the pocket, right. That's when
Yeah.
Hendrix sounded totally different with Band of
Yeah.
Gypsies.
You
Yep,
know,
because of that
so
pocket.
yeah, that pocket, And then then as you start getting older, then you start listening to other guys, like everybody listened to Dennis Chambers,
Mm-hmm.
John Blackwell, and it's just a whole bunch of drummers, even to listen to some Steve Gadd, Harvey
Right.
Mason, and of course, Tower of Power, Dave Garibaldi, man,
Yeah. Yeah.
Syncopation,
Yeah. And what's my man from Sly and Family Stone? Forgot that drummer's name. Another pocket cat. The drummer, the drummer for New Birth, I never knew his name. But I knew he passed about 2 years ago because I posted
Yeah.
him. He was
Yeah.
another,
Oof.
he influenced me a lot playing, when you had to play R&B stuff.
Yeah.
I always thought that he was tasty playing, playing that stuff. Which is why, with Harvey Mason, that's why I gravitated to when I had to play R&B. To be able to put that little slick stuff in there and not to bother the pocket.
That's right. Simple stuff, when you start talking about drummers, that tasteful, I didn't really get into the jazz,
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really get into a lot of fusion, I just like pocket,
Right.
I'm a pocket drummer, and like you said, just listening to those guys, and then I started listening to Dave Weckl,
Mm-hmm.
and we started listening to other guys, and back in the day they had Ginger Baker,
Right.
Yep. And I started, they was like, yo, man, you got to check out Ginger Baker. And then you start going back and you'd be like, yo, you got to listen to James Brown drummer, Clyde Stubbs,
Mm-hmm.
them guys, So, it's everybody has a different flavor.
Right. The Motown drummers.
Yeah.
Everybody had a signature.
Bernard Purdy,
Bernard Purdy, yep.
So, when you start thinking about drumming, it's just like a basketball, you can't say who's the great because at different eras you had outstanding drummers,
Mm-hmm.
You had the Tony Williams, Billy Cobham, Lenny White, Diamond, and just listen to how he, I just like how, like you said, I don't remember the drummer from New Birth, but how he had that freedom to express himself as he was playing, and they don't really want you to do that back in the day, but as you start leaning towards the Ohio players, how they gave him the solo on I want to be free.
Right, exactly.
You know?
Right. That was very different for back then.
Oh, different. Yeah, you know,
right.
solo on a slow song. Who does
right. And then bring it back. And then bring it back and boom. You know?
Who does that?
I always liked Stevie Wonder when he played drums. There was something about his groove that breathed. Like you could, when you listen to his recording, you can tell when he's playing.
Yes.
Opposed to, you know, when he has another drummer playing. There's a looseness, like a sloppiness on the hi-hat that makes everything just seem to bounce and breathe. And I go, oh, no, I said, yeah, that's Stevie playing. I said, I could just tell from the hi-hat that's him. Yeah. He doesn't really close it all the way. It's got that sound.
It's loose, you know.
It's loose. So and I saw interviews with him, and he basically was learning from the drummers at Motown.
Yeah.
Who were jazz cats.
Yeah, I seen the video and they were like, yo, Stevie played drums, you know. See, and this is what I like about YouTube, you know, it exposed you to a lot of stuff that you didn't know.
Right. That's why the show Unsung was one of my favorites. Same thing, you get the backstories.
Yeah, you know, because like you said, you know, when you start talking about talent, you know, you got talent, you know, out in the Bronx, you know, there's a lot of bands in the Bronx that were nice. You know, there's some cats out there, you know, and when I talk about Brooklyn, you know, they got a bass player named Al Boogs, you know, Al Davis. And this guy, man, you know, he played bass, drums, guitar, and he plays them very, very well. Gifted, bro, you know. And I always tease him, I call him my big brother. I'm older than him, boy. He about 6'4", so I call him Big Brother Al. That's my dude, man. He's humble, you know, he's doing a lot of work, you know, and him and my man Tony Johnson, these guys are gifted, man. They can play instruments, different instruments, and very fluid. Right. You know, he was my first guitarist. No, he's a second after Jeff Lawrence went to the military. Then he took Jeff's spot, and then now he's playing keyboard. But you know, sometimes I go to a rehearsal with him and somebody's having a problem with the bass line, be like, yo, man, let me just show you this here. He get on the bass. And, you know, a lot of people, I didn't know a lot of guys can play bass and guitar. You know, they just like, you know, Alan Thompson started out on bass and then he went to guitar. And, you know, and a couple of guys I know that started out on bass and they went to guitar. But, you know, it just shows that, you know, the gift that everybody has, man. You know, it's amazing, you know. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, a lot of time. Now, did you ever start your own band, or was you always called to be in a band?
My own band I started was Natural Explosion.
Oh, okay. See, now, I did not know that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. What happened is you know, Carl Morton, which is the bass player, and I used to always go and follow Funk House, you know, so Kenneth McHarris that lives across the street from Jimmy Johnson on 148th Street. Like I said, those guys, you had Carl Morton on bass, who lived on 148th, Jimmy Johnson, 148, Dave Taylor, 148, Anthony Newsom on 148. I lived on 147. Tony was the guitar player, lived on 141st. Jeffrey Lawrence was the original guitar player on 141st. And then we had another horn player, Kevin Richardson, lived on 149th. And then Kevin, he went to the military. So then we had another saxophone player, Jesse Smith. He lived on 140. And we just got together, you know, in my mother's basement, you know, all 9 of us would fit down there.
Wow, that's a lot.
You know, it's a small basement, but we made it work, man. And, you know, and we just followed Funk House. We followed Many Faces, you know, and we said, man, we can do this. And nobody had no prior training or went to school, no Juilliard.
Right.
We just had that gift where we just had we just was gifted in a way where we just tried to put something together.
Right.
You know. So we had a manager, Jesse Price, you know, and he started doing, you know, getting us some gigs and everything. Then we had a singer, Ben Iverson, who's he started giving us some original stuff, but since we were so young, because they were teenagers.
Right, right.
When they came to the group, everybody's still going to high school, junior high school.
Mm-hmm.
But, so we set up there and we said, okay, we need a name for the band. And I said, listen, why don't we call ourselves Natural Explosion? And I got that from the Soul Train commercials back in the day, where they had the Natural Explosion hair products. Boom, So that's how we got Natural Explosion, Then we started doing gigs and started hanging out, meeting people, but we never really got a chance to get connected with the right people.
Right, right.
I think we had to got connected with the right people, we could have went places.
Yeah, it was a great band. But so now what made you go, I'm going to start a band?
We sat up there and we went and we was following Funk House. Mm-hmm. And they did this song called Stay Up, and bass was like, yo, man, I can do that. I said, you can't do that. I said, Carl, you can't play that. He said, yeah, I can do that. And, because they had a run. But, I said, oh, you can do that? So the keyboard player's like, yo, show me that. So he did that, So the next thing you know, the trumpet player, Troy Sanders, he was over on 139th Street. He was across the bridge.
Okay.
He was the only one that wasn't in walking distance.
Right.
And we got down and we had horns. And we was like, yo, can y'all do this line? And they did it. So I said, we got a little something here. So then we started doing weddings and we started doing clubs, and they was like, y'all too young to be up there. We said, well, we here,
Right.
And so trying to get that band started was just by the grace of God, man. I just said, let's try something. And we connected. And once we connected, it just took off from there.
Because I got to tip my hat to anybody who starts something like that. Because especially you told me I was 9 of y'all. Because to be a leader, you got to deal with all them personalities. And I know then I just didn't have the patience. And I always laugh with Warren. I was like, I don't even know how you put up with me back then, man. And I was just one of the people in your band. But that, that's a special quality to want to be a leader in bands. I'm like, just scheduling a rehearsal.
Yes. I mean, even though we lived on this, within walking distance, we're only 2 blocks away,
Right.
And everybody had schoolwork. And one time, Dave Taylor, he had me cracking up because, we used to start, okay, listen, man, if you can't get to rehearsal on time, we're going to start charging y'all $5. Mm. So he came to rehearsal one time and he was late. He said, man, y'all going to understand, man. I just got hit by a bus. He said, so why are you here? He said, so like you said, man, dealing with the personalities. And one thing about that group, we all got along, There was no animosity towards one another. We grew up together.
That's a great thing.
We got along, even when it came down to sharing the ideas.
Right.
Nobody's like, yo, well, you the musical director, it's like, yo, why don't we do it this way here? How are we going to segue this song here? And you just came up with ideas, collectively.
Right.
Nobody said, yo, I'm the MD. It's going to be my way or no way. We never had that, But like you said, dealing with the personalities and whatnot, it wasn't too bad because they were young. We were young, and we got along, and it wasn't like you coming all the way from St. Albans or you coming from the Bronx and you come down there and you had an attitude because, you're not doing nothing. We just walked the rehearsal, and my mother used to have me cracking up because I used to say, Mom, it don't bother you that we down there making that noise? She said, nope. She said, because I know where you are.
Right. And, I always give a shout out to the parents, man. So much thanks and respect that they allowed the band to be rehearsing at their house, whether it be inside, the garage, whatever. like you said, man, because if it wasn't for a lot of parents, then a lot of that stuff would have never happened.
Exactly.
Having all that rehearsed. So I always say that because, a lot of parents coming from work or it's their day off, most parents go, I do not want to hear that, but a lot of them like they learn to tune it out. That's the incredible thing. Be upstairs cooking. You got a bunch of teenagers walking through your house because if you didn't have a back door to the basement, they come to the front and go downstairs. And then, that's how many people, hey, how you doing, Mr. Such and Such? Bye, how y'all?
Yeah.
Drive to your house, man. So I always just so much respect for the parents to allow that.
Yeah. My father, he sat up there. He worked nights. I mean, he worked during the day. He never told me we couldn't rehearse down there, And my mother used to make these big 5-gallon bucket of Kool-Aid.
Wow.
Hey, I'm going upstairs to get some Kool-Aid. But they inspired us. Father sat up there, if I needed something, he would get it. And then, we got together. We would do gigs just to buy equipment.
Mm.
I got my first Pearl drum set because we did a gig. And the money that we made from that gig bought the drums.
Wow.
So everybody, Carl got his Rickenbacker from a gig. Jimmy got his Hammond, his, was it? The keyboard, not the Hammond.
Warfisa or something?
No.
That was a portable one.
The black one. What is it called?
What, DX7? Oh, 88.
We talking about way back. It won't come to me now, but he bought his keyboard. Anthony bought his sax. Dave bought his trombone. Trumpet, was Troy. We, got Troy's trumpet. Tony always had a guitar.
Mm-hmm.
We had to get a PA system, The PA system was through the gigs.
Wow.
Because, at that time, nobody really had money to invest in us.
Right. I remember we worked for the Parks Department one summer as a band. It took me the whole summer to buy Zildjian cymbals. They were so expensive. I was like, man, I couldn't believe the price of them hi-hat cymbals. I was like, oh my goodness, man. I think New Beats then was $2 something.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. But I kept them things. I still got them. I still have the hi-hat cymbals. Yeah. Even after I got an endorsement, man, and I've used this set once.
Really?
I came over off the road and did a gig with them. I said, oh man, they sound great. And they've been sitting in my basement in cases since. I got two of them I left over there. I told them don't send them because I had nowhere to put them. I'll just use it when I come back. But there's one he sent me and I never even put the heads on it. Man, it's still in plastic in the cases.
Wow.
You know, and I was like, wow, all these years I want to endorse myself. So now I'm, because everything's always backlined. So I was like, I don't have to carry drums no more. But yeah, the cymbals, like, cases, I was like, look at all this. It's just sitting here and I got plastic over them.
That's right.
So,
yeah. That keyboard I was thinking about is a Fender Rhodes.
Oh, the Rhodes. Oh, good Lord. Yeah.
Yeah. We had, it's so funny. We said that we had a gig at the Boston Road Ballroom.
Mm-hmm.
You had to go up a whole flight.
Up them steps. Yeah. Play some gigs there. Yeah.
You're like, yo, man, you're on your own. But we really, we had a lot of fun with that group. I really enjoyed them. Love them brothers, Some, as a matter of fact, we just recently did a 30-year reunion.
I saw some of them pictures online, man.
Yeah,
I was like, that was great.
4 years ago. And, God bless them, the ones that were here, that's with us,
How many have y'all lost?
We lost Carl Morton, Jimmy Johnson. Who else we lost? And that's basically it. Because, two. Because Dave, myself, we go with the horns. Troy, we wasn't able to get in touch with him,
Mm-hmm.
So he wasn't able to make it. But Dave Taylor, Anthony Noosa. Then we had these two horn players, Eric and James Fleet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they set in for, you know, the other two horn players. And then you had Tony and you had Leonard and myself. So yeah, we lost two of them. You know, and Jesse Smith, the sax player, we can't get in touch with him. But you know, just the idea of us getting back together after 30 years, man.
Yeah, man, that's great. When you can get back together with anybody after 30 years.
Yeah, they didn't find it robbery to, you know, we did a lot of rehearsing, we got things together, and it just brought back good memories, man.
Yeah, that's good.
You know, I'm in touch with them brothers, you know, they like family to me. You know, he moved to Maryland. Anthony moved to Virginia,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so myself, you know, I'm in Delaware, and Tony's in Staten Island, and Dawes in New Jersey. So we still get together and talk, see how everybody's doing. Eldridge Johnson, he also helped out, you know, because his brother Jimmy Johnson was in it. So now he helped us out with the vocals and everything. It was just, you know, one of those things that, you know, you sit back and you say, wow, man, you know, this is interesting that we still here and we can still talk to each other and have a good time.
Yeah, that's a great thing, man.
And then you start reminiscing.
Yeah, right. You realize it's been 30 years,
Yeah.
So when you was with the Joneses, did you do any recording?
I did one recording with them. We went to the studio. And we did this song, Standing on the Outside.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of like a Billie Jean beat.
Okay.
You know, and it just never went nowhere.
Right.
You know,
so, you know, for me, like, you know, I see people ask drummers, like, how do you approach your recording and all that? For me, I just look at them like, I mean, when you record it, was it just like, hey, I'm in here playing like I usually do and y'all mic'd it up? Like that's my approach.
That's it. You know, I looked at it like, you know, it's no pressure on you. You know, just do it because, you know, with today's technology, if there's something that you want to punch in or you want to do something, you can do so. You know, I did some recording with this singer that was in this group called Soul for Life. And her name was Pamela Cornelius. You know, she did a lot of stuff with what's the name of that group again? It'll come to me. But I did a recording with her, you know, and just listening to her, you know, she gave me the freedom, you know, and it came out pretty nice. You know, she just recently passed, you know, she had a stroke, passed. But, you know, I definitely got the CD downstairs. I listened to it out traveling. And, you know, and like you said, it's just go there, no pressure, just have fun. Just play. And, you know, I try not to do nothing, you know, because I've learned over the years, you know, chops are good, but chops has to be where chops belong.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah. They should be musical. They should enhance what's going on, not take away. I agree with that. You know, again, when people go, what's your approach? I was like, yo, it's gonna be what I always do. I did a rockabilly artist, me and Les July. First time I had did it, but again, we listened coming up, we heard just about everything. You know, I told people, I said, hey, when we was coming up, we was watching Hee Haw. I said, so I'm no foreign to country music.
Right.
I listened to Larry, I think it's Larry, I forgot the drummer. He was a very popular country drummer. So I realized there is a technique playing country music. There's a sound. There's a way they play country music. So rockabilly was a little more aggressive, but to me, it was like an aggressive country music. So my goal was always, when we played, if somebody was to hear that recording, because I think I got a tape of it somewhere, my thing was, you can't tell me that you know that's me and Les playing drum. I mean, I'm playing drum and Les is playing bass.
Really?
That was our goal, was for us not to have such a signature on this guy's music. You know, because there's people that you could tell right away when you hear them that just them playing.
Right.
That's cool. Now, in other situations, we all have a little thing that we do, and you can go, oh, that's B playing drums, or that's Kev playing drums. We all have that, but sometimes on recording, you just try to sound like, just make the drums play the part they're supposed to.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. And so it's not like, you know, you always know it's Marcus Miller from the tone.
Yeah. Just from the tone. Yes.
And that's so dominant, because when you have somebody who's worked a long time, some other bass players who get the same pickups and all that, when you hear the tone, you're going to think that's Marcus, just from the tone. Oh, that must be Marcus. Like, no, that's another bass player, but his bass sounds a lot like his. And then you have to really listen to it playing to go, oh, no, yeah, I can tell that's not him. That's his tone, but that's not him. So that's usually my approach. Do you want me to bring myself to it, or do you just need a generic type for it to sound good?
Right. Keep it simple.
Yeah, that's like what's my man that does the Sound of Philadelphia? He did all them records.
Yeah.
Like his pocket is crazy.
Yeah.
You know, like him and the drummer from that did the Barry White records.
Oh. Consistent. Very
like
consistent.
His pocket, and that's one of my favorite recorded snare sounds. Is that guy.
Oh, man,
the tone on his snare is crazy. But again, you know, I know everybody has their approach to what they do, but some people, to me, they get a little deep for me when they start talking about that. Oh, well, you know, I had to have this, and I'm like we was talking about one time before. When you're playing at a festival, and you know, cats bringing in 3 snare drums and all that, and I'll be looking, I go, it all gonna sound the same out in the house. With all them gates and compressors, all your snare drums, other than the piccolo, because it's gonna be a high pitch, they all gonna sound the same.
Sound the same. Yeah, it's gonna sound the same.
So what you don't see me carrying is a bunch of stuff. It's like recording, that's different, but live on them things, I'm like, come on, man, they got that stuff so compressed.
Exactly. Yeah. No. To me, you know, a lot of guys, I'm getting back to that. Mm-hmm. She sung with Rolls Royce.
Right.
Pamela Canales.
Okay.
And they sat up there. A lot of guys, and you know, even when I go see, you know, I go to a concert and I see, or I go to a club and I see a guy, he got 3 bass on the stand. You'd be like, okay, so when you gonna pick that bass up, because this is your 3rd set.
Right.
Is it there for show?
Right.
You know, and like you said, with drummers, they come there, you know, it's good to have a backup. Mm-hmm. It's good to have something, you know, the sound that you want. Man, just pray. Like you said, they're going to fix that out there anyhow. So what difference does it make?
Like I said, I get it when they have the other snare drum because it's tuned much higher. So if you're playing a particular thing, you get that hip hop sound. When you hit that other snare, I get it. It's on like a piccolo snare. So it's going to be higher than your deeper snare. Like me personally, I never keep my snare that deep because I was a big follower of Lenny White. So you remember how Lenny had that snare was tuned high.
Yeah.
That became my thing, you know, and I actually use the rim every time I play. I'm not in the middle of the drum unless I'm swinging. Mm-hmm. So it's always going to be that high pitched pop.
Right.
And, you know, I see a lot of cats bring, I know when I'm swinging a lot, I need to have another snare drum for the fact that I don't like the loose head, but you need that for a buzz roll and that kind of stuff. That loose head helps when it comes to that. Because when you're playing a tight head, it's almost like playing on the drum line. You
ain't getting that buzz.
You need a little resonance to happen.
Yeah.
So I get it when it's like that, but like I told people, I said, it's hard for me to carry anything that I don't need to be carrying, like a bunch of drums and cymbals and all of that. You know, when we used to do festivals, they be like, get anything special? Nah, I'm good.
Keep it simple.
Don't need all that extra stuff. I know what it sounds like in the house.
That's right. You know what you're going to get.
Compressed like crazy. Right.
Or you want basically, you know, it's like when I do, you know, like I'm doing a lot of outside you know, gigs in the park, you know, doing, you know, some libraries, you know. All I want to hear is that kick.
Right.
You know, if I hear that kick where it's hit me here, I'm happy as a pig in slop.
Yep. I tell people that anchors everything for me on the mother drums, but that kick drum, it anchors. When I was on tour, I got the monitor man. He also was a drummer, and so by that time I was using the ear monitors. Now you're not getting no bottom out of that. You getting clarity you hearing, but you're not getting no bottom. So he recommended. He said, "Hey, Kev, I can get you a shaker to put up under your riser." I was like, "Word?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "So you'll feel it hit the kick drum when you hit it." Man, that thing was so great that the bass player started standing on my riser with me so that he could feel it, because he was saying, I hear the kick drum, but I'm not feeling it.
Right.
Because, you know, overseas on the gig that we was doing, it was more like a mid-range. They wasn't pumping it in the house because it was like a Broadway-ish sound. You know, really don't have a lot of sub to it. So he would stand on my riser when he played to feel that. And I was like, yo, man, I love that. I think I blew two of them too, though. Because we were like, because you just tap the bass drum, man, and you just feel it like the seat would jump.
Yeah.
And so it just made the ear mine that much better. And you could play lower.
Yeah.
Because you're feeling it. So I don't have to push. And that was one of the best things he showed me to do, man. The bass player, he told me when we got home, he called me a month later, he said, "Hey, man, I bought two of those things. I got them on my couch. So when I watch movies, I can feel all the stuff that's shaking my eyes." Like, you crazy, man. But yeah, that, like you said, that kick drum, you feel the kick drum, it anchors us.
Yes. Gotta have the kick, you know.
Everything is solid when I can feel that kick drum.
Yeah, you know, and I like using my double pedal. So when I'm doing my rolls and I do that,
yeah.
Oh man, I'm in heaven.
Yep.
I'm in heaven. I'm in heaven, man. You know, definitely in heaven.
That's the one thing my mind makes. I go, I gotta have this kick drum. If you can't do nothing else,
that's right.
Make sure that kick drum is there.
Snare. Give me the kick. I mean, I'm gonna hit the snare. You know.
Right. Everybody's gonna hear that.
Yeah, but that stage, it's gotta be there. You know, even to the cymbals. You know, I'm gonna crash.
Right.
But I need that kick. Gotta have that kick. You know, because once you lock in with the bass player, that's all you need. You know.
But you know, not to put you on line, but I know you got some of your favorite people that you play with, bass players and people that you gel with.
Me, okay. One that I really gel with, you know, his name is Randy Parks. You know, I've done quite a few gigs with him. Al Books, you know, and Lynn Mendoza. This guy that I hooked up with down here, you know, his name is Kenny Singleton. Me and him groove nice.
Okay, cool.
Nice groove, you know. Then I did something with let's see, Randy, Al Books. Basically, that's it. Because most of the guys, you know, I may do a hit with them one time, you know, and I really wouldn't get a chance to know them.
Right, yeah, right.
You know, they'd be like, yo, man, nice hit. Listen, man, I'm solid. I'm just going to give you what I give you.
Right.
Yeah, but I can play with you because, you know, you pocket. You know, so I enjoy doing that. You know, just staying, you know, I'm here to support the music. It ain't about
Right.
You know, I give you a feel every now and then, but as long as I can keep that time, that's it, you know. And I'll be like, yo, man, you know, he said, yo, man, I love playing with you because you ain't gonna do no crazy roll. And I gotta look at you like, okay, how you gonna come back in?
Yeah, man. And that's what gets you to work, man. People understand other stuff is great. Like I said, I played all the other stuff, but they're gonna call you because you're gonna groove. That's what people want, especially playing in a certain situation.
Yeah, they had another guy, you know, a couple of guys I played with, Mike Sharp. He's a nice bass player. I did a few things with him. And Ron Penn, we grew up together. I love playing with him because, he's just solid.
Right.
When you find guys that are solid, it makes you feel, like Randy Parks and I, we did quite a few projects together. And he always tell me, yo, man, I'm going to call you because, I know I can count on you. And certain movements that he would do,
right,
he'll do it one time.
Right.
He'd be like, yo, catch this here.
Right.
And then next time, I'll catch it. He said,
Right.
man, that's what I'm talking about. He said, man, I can play with you all day. And he's very humble, very humble guy. And you don't find too many people like that are humble.
Yeah. But yo, D, we gonna go, man. It's been a pleasure, man. You open up a lot of, stuff I didn't know. And from that side of town, man, there's so many more musicians I ain't know nothing about.
Yeah. I appreciate you having me on it.
Man.
I got to come back again. Maybe I have some more names for you.
Man. It's good to talk to you. Look for some other cats. So, all right. Hey, y'all. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Musician Rewind. We're going to hit y'all on the next one. All right, D. Thanks so much, man.
All right, man. God bless.
All right. Peace.
Peace.